My parents asked me to cancel my vacation because they were in a financial crisis. I agreed until I found their cruise tickets. They invited my siblings and my sister's husband, but not me. I didn't say anything. 3 weeks later, my mother showed up crying at my door. I'm Juan, 29 years old, and I've always been the one supporting my family. I work as a technician at a telecommunications company. Not spectacular, but it's stable and lets me live comfortably. For years, I've been the one paying the bills when my parents come up short, lending money to my siblings, never saying no. But everything changed a few months ago when I realized they'd stabbed me in the back. I'd been saving for a year for a vacation. Nothing fancy, just a week at a quiet beach, a modest hotel, a cheap flight. For me, it was a dream. I hadn't taken vacation in years, always putting work and family first. I booked everything excitedly, counting the days to relax. But then my mother called. Her voice sounded serious. She said they needed to talk to me urgently. I went to their house that same afternoon. My father was in the dining room, looking grim, and my mother was on the verge of tears. They told me they were in a financial crisis. Debts, unpaid bills, my father's business failing. They asked me to cancel my vacation and give them the money. "You're the only one who can help us, Juan," my mother said with teary eyes. "Your siblings can't, but you've always been the responsible one." I felt like I'd been punched. That vacation was the only thing I had for myself. But seeing them so desperate, I gave in. I've always believed family comes first. So I said yes, canceled the trip, lost part of the money due to reservations, and gave them what was left. They didn't give me details on how they'd use it, just a thank you and promises they'd get back on their feet. The next few weeks, I tried not to think about what I'd lost. I threw myself into work, but I was furious with myself. Once again, I put others above me. My friends asked why I was in a bad mood, but I didn't want to tell them. I felt stupid for giving in so easily. One day, I went to my parents' house to drop off some things they'd asked for. No one was home, but on the kitchen table, I saw some papers. They were cruise tickets. The names! My parents, my sister Anna, her husband Marcos, and my brother Lucas. Mine wasn't there. I froze. I'd canceled my vacation because they said they were broke, and now they were going on a luxury cruise. All of them except me. Rage burned inside me. But I didn't say anything. I put the papers back and left. That night, I didn't sleep. I thought about all the times I'd paid their bills, the loans they never repaid, how I was always the one sacrificing everything. And then I made a decision. I wasn't going to be their ATM anymore. If they could afford a cruise without me, I could stop paying their debts. The following week, I saw the cruise photos on Anna's social media. Everyone smiling, sipping cocktails like they didn't have a care in the world. She sent me a message. "Too bad you didn't come. It was amazing." I didn't reply. I was fed up with their games, but I couldn't stay silent forever. I decided to confront them. I went to my parents' house the day after they returned. They were in the dining room, drinking coffee like nothing had happened. Without beating around the bush, I pulled out the tickets I kept and placed them on the table. "Explain this," I said, trying not to yell. My mother paled and my father frowned. For a moment, no one spoke. "Juan, it's not what you think," my mother started, her voice trembling. "We won those tickets in a raffle. We couldn't pass up the opportunity." It was the most absurd lie I'd ever heard. The tickets had their names, specific dates, and I knew a cruise like that cost thousands. "Don't lie to me," I said. "I gave you my money because you said you were in a crisis, and you went on vacation without me. You used me." My father got defensive. "We don't owe you explanations," he said, raising his voice. "You did what any son would do for his family." That made me snap. Any son? What about Anna and Lucas? Why didn't they cancel anything? Why is it always me who pays? My mother tried to calm me, saying they didn't want to worry me, that the trip was a gift for everyone, but they didn't explain why I wasn't invited. The argument escalated. I told them I was done, that I wouldn't keep paying their bills. "From now on, figure out yourselves," I said and left. On the way home, my phone wouldn't stop buzzing, Messages from Anna, Lucas, my mother, all trying to manipulate me. Anna said I was being selfish, that the family had always been there for me. Lucas wrote that I shouldn't be dramatic, that the cruise wasn't a big deal. My mother left a voicemail crying, saying she couldn't believe I was turning my back on them. I didn't respond to anyone. I was done. I cut off all the automatic payments I'd been making for their bills. Internet, phone, electricity for their house. I knew they'd notice soon, and it wouldn't be easy, but I couldn't keep being the family fool. For days, my phone kept blowing up with messages. My father called, furious, saying I was leaving the family on the street. Anna sent a long text saying she was disappointed in me, that she always thought I was the best brother. I tried to ignore them, but each message stung. A week later, my mother showed up at my apartment unannounced, her face a mess from crying. "Juan, please don't do this to us," she said as soon as she walked in. "We can't pay everything on our own. You're our son. You can't abandon us." It was pure theatrics. I tried to stay firm, but it wasn't easy. I told her I wouldn't budge, that they betrayed me first. She kept crying, saying the cruise was a mistake, that they didn't think it would upset me so much. Didn't think. I repeated, incredulous. "You asked for my money and left me out. What did you expect? We didn't resolve anything." She left, still crying, and I was left feeling a mix of relief and guilt. I knew cutting them off would be tough, but I couldn't keep living for them. For the first time, I was putting my needs first, and though it hurt, it felt good. After the fight at my parents' house, my world turned into chaos. I cut off the payments for their utilities, electricity, internet, phone, everything. I knew it was like throwing a grenade, but I didn't expect the explosion that followed. My family didn't just get angry. They launched a desperate campaign to pull me back in. It was like they declared war, and I was public enemy number one. But this time, I wasn't going to give in, no matter how dirty they played. The first few days after confrontation, my phone was a minefield. Calls, messages, notifications. My mother was the first to strike. She left a voicemail sobbing, saying my father had an anxiety attack because of me. He's not eating, not sleeping, Juan. If something happens to him, it'll be your fault. It gave me chills, but something felt off. I called a neighbor who knows him well, and he said my father was at the local bar, drinking beer like nothing was wrong. It was a blatant lie. Instead of guilt, I felt furious. How low could they sink? Anna, my sister, didn't hold back either. She sent a long text saying I was destroying the family. "I always thought you were the best brother, but now I see you only think about yourself," she wrote. Then she called. And when I didn't answer, she showed up at my workplace. Yes, my workplace. I was in the office reviewing reports when the receptionist said someone was there to see me. There was Anna, eyes red like she'd been crying for hours, but I knew it was all an act. She dragged me to a corner and started talking fast, saying Marcos, her husband, was considering suing me for family abandonment. I laughed in her face. "Let him sue," I said. "Let's see how he explains the cruise in court." She went pale and left without another word. But I knew it wouldn't be the last time she'd try. Lucas, my younger brother, was more direct. One night, he sent me a video. It was him in my parents' house, in the dark, holding a candle. "Look at this one," he said, panning the camera to show the empty living room. "No electricity, nothing. All because of your selfishness." Then his tone shifted, almost pleading. "Come back, brother. You're the only one who can fix this." I didn't respond, but the video stuck in my head, not out of guilt, but anger. How dare they blame me after what they did? The situation got crazier when my parents started involving others. One morning, I got a call from my Aunt Rosa, who lives in another city. "Juan, how can you do this to your parents?" she said, her voice preachy. "They told me everything. They're ruined because of you." I was stunned. My parents had gone crying to the family, painting me as the villain. I told her the truth. The cruise, the lies, my money. I don't know if she believed me, but she promised to talk to them. Later, I learned she wasn't the only one. My parents called cousins, uncles, even an old boss of mine, asking them to make me see reason. It was a full-on ambush. At work, things weren't helping. My boss was pressuring me with a new project, and the stress was pushing me to the edge. A colleague, Diego, noticed I was about to snap. During lunch, I told him everything. The cruise, the lies, the bills. I didn't expect much, but he surprised me. "You're doing the right thing," he said. "If you don't set a boundary, they'll suck the life out of you." He suggested I do something for myself, something to pull me out of that dark cloud. It wasn't a bad idea. I joined a gym and started going after work. Hitting a punching bag helped me release the rage I'd been carrying. But my family didn't give up. One night, while I was watching TV, someone pounded on my door like they were trying to break it down. It was my father, face red, fists clenched. "Come in," I said, trying to stay calm. He didn't sit. He stood in the middle of my living room and started yelling. "You're a disgrace," he said. "You left us with nothing. Your mother won't stop crying, and it's all because of your stubbornness." I told him to calm down, to talk like adults, but he wouldn't. He said if I didn't start paying the bills again, he'd disinherit me. I had to bite my tongue to keep from laughing. Disinherit me? A house full of debts and a failing business? "Do what you want," I said and showed him the door. After that, my mother tried a new tactic. She sent me a letter. Yes, a physical, handwritten letter, like we were in the 80s. It said she was sorry, that the cruise was a mistake, that they never meant to hurt me. It ended with a plea for me to come back and be the son who always saved them. The letter was so dramatic, it could have been from a soap opera. I read it, crumpled it, and threw it away. I wasn't falling for that trap. The lowest blow came a week later. I was at the gym when I got a message from an unknown number. It was a photo of my mother sitting in a chair, face covered in tears. The message read, "This is what you're doing to your family." I recognized the number. It was Marcos, Anna's husband. My hands shook with rage. This wasn't just manipulation. It was cruelty. I called Marcos immediately. When he answered, I didn't let him speak. "If you send something like that again, I swear you'll regret it," I said. He hung up without a word, but I knew he'd cross a line. Amid all this, something unexpected happened. I got an email from a company I'd applied to months ago. They offered me a better job in another city, with a salary nearly double mine. It was a golden opportunity, but it meant leaving everything behind. I spent days thinking it over. Moving was a fresh start, but also an escape from this circus. While I was considering it, my family upped the ante. One Saturday morning, there was a knock at my door. I opened it, and there they were, my parents, Anna, Marcos, Lucas. They looked like a delegation ready to negotiate. My mother started, eyes teary. "Juan, we can't go on like this. No electricity, no phone. We're lost." Anna added that she was willing to forget everything if I helped again. Lucas, for the first time, looked uncomfortable but said nothing. Marcos was the worst. "If you don't do something, we'll lose the house," he said, like I was the bank. My father just stared, expected me to cave. I didn't. "You got yourselves into this," I said. "You used me, lied to me, and now you want to fix it. Find another way." My mother started crying. Anna called me selfish. Marcos let out a sarcastic laugh. "We'll see how long you last alone," he said. I made them leave and shut the door. But as they left, I heard my mother mutter, "We're not letting you go that easily." That night, I didn't sleep. I knew this wasn't over. My family was desperate, and desperate people do unpredictable things. But I had a plan. The job offer email was still in my inbox, and it was looking more and more like my way out. The job offer was my ticket out, a better position, a salary that gave me breathing room, and a chance to leave behind my family's toxic circus. But I knew I wouldn't leave without one final round. My family was desperate, and when they're backed into a corner, they show their claws. What I didn't expect was a massive spectacle they'd staged to try to break me, or that our last fight would be total chaos that left me shaking with adrenaline. After the ambush at my apartment, where they all ganged up on me, I thought they'd hit rock bottom. I was wrong. My mother went from tearful messages to a nuclear strategy. One night, I got an email from a local hospital saying my father had been admitted for a heart attack and the family needed urgent funds for medical bills. My heart raced. For a second, I almost believed it, but something didn't add up. The email came from a generic, unofficial address, and the doctor's name didn't show up in any search. I called the hospital directly, and they confirmed my father wasn't registered. It was a setup. My parents had faked a medical email to scam money out of me. The rage blinded me. This wasn't just manipulation, it was a crime. I didn't tell them I'd caught them. Instead, I started planning my exit. I accepted the job, signed a contract, and was given 2 weeks to move. While I packed my apartment, sold furniture when furniture, and closed accounts, my family kept attacking. Anna and Marcos left a package at my door with photos of my parents' dark house and a note. "This is your fault. Fix it, or we'll never forgive you." Lucas sent a video of himself crying, saying the family was lost without me. Even Aunt Rosa called, saying I'd be cursed for abandoning my parents. It was psychological warfare, but I wasn't the same one who caved to guilt anymore. At work, I told Diego everything. He was floored by the fake hospital email. "They're psychopaths," he said. "Get out and don't look back." His support gave me strength. I threw myself into the gym, hitting the punching bag until my knuckles hurt. Each punch was for them, for their lies, the crews, years of using me. For the first time, I felt in control. But my family had one last trick up their sleeve, and it was insane. On Friday, Anna texted about a family emergency, saying I had to come to my parents' house that night. I knew it was a trap, but I went. I wanted to face them, set things straight, and close this chapter with a slam. When I arrived, the scene was surreal. The house was full of people. My parents, Anna, Marcos, Lucas, Aunt Rosa, a couple of cousins, even the neighbor. They'd set up a kind of tribunal, with chairs in a circle and a table full of family photos, like it was a funeral. In the center, a TV played a looping video, images of my mother crying, my father looking defeated, and Anna speaking to camera, saying I'd abandoned them. I stood in the doorway, barely able to believe it. "What is this?" I said, trying not to laugh. My mother stood, crocodile tears in her eyes. "Juan, this is an intervention," she said. "We love you, but you're lost. We want to save our family." My father added, judge-like, "You stopped paying the bills. You left us in ruins. But if you come back now, we can forget everything." Anna chimed in, saying they'd spoken to a lawyer and could fix things if I paid what they owed. Marcos, with his usual arrogance, said he had contacts who could help clear my name if I cooperated. Lucas just stared at the floor, clearly forced to be there. Then I lost it. "This is a circus." I shouted, pointing at the TV, "You faked a hospital email, lied about a heart attack, used me for years, and now you put on this show? Do you think I'm an idiot?" I pulled out my phone and showed screenshots of the fake email. The cruise tickets, records of the payments I'd made for them. "This is who you are," I said, passing the phone around. Aunt Rosa paled. The cousins looked uncomfortable. The neighbor muttered something and left. My mother threw herself on the floor, crying dramatically. "You're our son. You can't do this to us," she screamed. My father stood, pointing at me. "You're a disgrace. You'll regret this." Anna and Marco started talking at once, her pleading, him threatening legal consequences. Lucas finally spoke, voice low. "Juan, we just want you back." He was the only one who sounded human, but I couldn't trust anyone anymore. Then I did something that left him speechless. I pulled out my checkbook, wrote a check for a small amount, enough for 1 month's electricity, and tossed it on the table. "This is the last you'll ever see from me," I said. "I'm moving in a week. I have a new job, a new life, and it doesn't include people who stab me in the back." I turned to leave, but my mother lunged at me, grabbing my legs. "Don't go, Juan. We're lost without you," she sobbed. I had to pry her off carefully while my father yelled, and Anna tried to calm her. Marcos pulled out his phone, saying he was going to record everything, but I snatched it from his hands and threw it on the couch. "Record this," I said. "It's over." I walked out, heart pounding, adrenaline making me shake, but I felt free. As I headed to my car, I heard my mother screaming my name from the doorway, but I didn't look back. That night, I didn't sleep. I sat staring at the boxes in my apartment, thinking about what had happened. Part of me felt guilt, but another knew I'd done the right thing. They'd crossed every line, and I deserved better. A week later, I was on a plane to my new city. The job was incredible, a team that respected me, a boss who valued my work, and a salary that let me save and treat myself. I moved into an apartment with a balcony, started hanging out with colleagues, even went on a couple of dates. Each day was a step away from the past. I blocked my family everywhere, but one day I got an email from Lucas. He didn't ask for anything, just said he was working at a mechanic shop and wanted to do things right. I replied briefly, "I hope you do. I don't know if we'll talk again," but it was a small ray of light. Now, as I write this, I'm on my balcony with a beer in hand, watching the city lights. I don't know what'll happen with my parents or Anna, and for Skeenan, for the first time, I don't care. I've found my path, and no one's going to take it from me.